Now, if I'm playing the animatic, should I be playing? Well, I don't want to play sound yet, anyway. So I
Let's
don't. I
see.
don't really want to play it.
Hmm.
I would just kind of.
Cool. So we're live.
All right.
So what we're discussing now is the upcoming Plague Puppets Pilot, which is as 3 to 5 minutes short that we will be producing. Um, Julie and Jed have written the script, some help with everyone else on the team. Um, so yeah, and Jed is starting to put together some animatics. Let's see what take it from here, Jed.
Yeah. Welcome in, everybody. So yeah, I just start looking at the opening scene here for the Puppets pilot, as Massimo said. We're still working on the script down the road, but we have a good intro set up here. So I did some rough storyboards. These are very rudimentary just for me to sort of look at the blocking, look at the characters, the pacing of the story. And this is just our introduction into the Plague Puppets world. So I'm going to share my screen here for everybody. So this is the opening sequence again for the pilot. We are focusing in on our main character, currently titled named Enid, which may change in the future, but that's her name right now. Without giving too much away, this is the opening in front of the orphanarium. So we're looking across the street right now at a couple neighborhood houses. It's nighttime, raining, a bit of thunder. Get some nice fog in there. If some of you guys are familiar with the Halloween NFT or the tap dance NFT in the park, that's a nice look that we've explored before. So we kind of want to start on that note and introduce our main character. And she'll be pacing back and forth, trying to get some attention from drivers by, without again giving away too much of the story here. And then we just get into a little action sequence of her running out into the road. She's basically trying to give it her all here to get some attention, as you can see. So from there, we'll introduce some other characters that are looking in. Finish up this scene, headed back into the orphanarium. We'll introduce the very beginning of the story here, and you'll see a little bit more about what that's about when we get there. But this is sort of our challenge right now, is to build out the exterior. And so we're going to be working here with John in Unreal, building up the scene, whether that be importing models, setting up cameras, doing blocking, things like that. We're just really starting with a blank piece of paper right now and going to sketch it all in.
Cool. So one of the challenges here is that we have water, right? We have rain,
Right.
and a wet environment, and potentially a wet puppet.
Yep.
So yeah. Anyway, John,
Yeah,
let's
I think this will be a lot of fun.
yeah.
Let's jump in. I think. Should I keep sharing my screen or should I just leave mine off?
You can leave it
Because
off, and
we
then
should
John
share
can.
chat.
What do we
Yeah, I
want?
could show the I'd show that the thing that the demo for that rain thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's take a look at that.
Yeah.
Well, but do we want to start setting up the levels in Unreal?
Yeah, I think I feel like a good place to start would be a simplified, version of what the final will be. But it doesn't necessarily need to be like, you know, like we may not want to go too deep into it, in case we want to like restart it, you know.
I think the main elements that I would be looking at right now is the road and the width of the road.
Mm-hmm.
Neighborhood houses across the street, even if they're just giant squares right now, or some, you know, generic model, where the orphanarium is behind camera. And we get the puppet, you know, our hero puppet there's standing on the sidewalk at the edge of the curb leading to the street. Because a lot of action plays out there with her walking back and forth with the sign, jumping off into the street. Then we can see how wide that street needs to be, how big the cars look. And I think those are like the tentpole objects that we'll need.
So
to sketch it in.
Maybe figuring out the car models, or should we not even be doing that yet? We could also use like squares for cars too.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we just want to do like a simplified, almost like you know, a pre-viz, like a VFX pre-viz in a sense, where I think it's mainly about, however we can denote what those objects are or size of them. You know, I think we'll want to dig a little bit deeper on what models for the cars that we get, and you know, that'll be a whole day just working on that. But
I kind of like the idea, of the square, like just blocking the houses out with cubes.
Because what I would like to do is sort of just replace my boards right now in the Animatic with some actual movement in camera with the puppet, work on that timing, kind of like we did the pop through for the Christmas scene, right? So
I think that what's nice about doing that is that it would give us a sense of how big the level should be, and like how much detail we want to be in this level, and do we want to have this level be you know, just the street and the houses are really just images, and then we have a separate level for the house, or like, you know, are the houses 3D full out 3D models, you know. So I think that doing it that way could give us a pretty good sense of what this level should actually be, really.
Yeah, and like if we need an HDRI, what that would look like. Do we green screen the background and do a 2D background for like the tertiary third layer? And it kind of depends. I mean, right now we basically have 3 angles on the street. So we're looking what I would call east and west. So we're looking across the street at the neighbors' houses. We're looking back at the orphanarium. So let's call that east and west. And then we have one shot looking, let's call it north, that goes down the street. But we never see that 4th angle going south.
So the street is going north-south and the houses are east-west.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'd say we're looking north. Let's say that. So that the end of that street, is north. When the 2 cars come by, she's holding the sign.
Cool.
So for an HDRI or for whatever, and I don't think there's not going to be, most of the camera movement is very subtle and only in one direction from what I remember. So we're not doing a lot of like panning or 360s or that kind of stuff. So camera's more or less locked off except for, you know, some slight push-ins.
Cool.
And I'll just kind of go through the Animatic here on my end to see what I'm missing. We also have those lampposts. I like the lamppost from the park, from Tap Dance. And also from Halloween. I think those are the same ones.
Right. Yeah, they are the same.
So if we're in the same town, they have the same street lamps.
Yeah, totally.
So that's something that will help us figure out maybe the width of the street and where the sidewalks would be, because we could place a couple of those down in the distance. Just kind of see what it looks like.
Yeah, and then the lawns we'll be able to texture paint, so that should be pretty easy. The street really shouldn't really be very hard. Yeah. I think really the biggest challenge for that scene will probably be figuring out, like, will be the houses, and whether we want to have models or not for those.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that's going to come down to the lighting, because since it's nighttime, I'm more interested in finding the right way to show lights within the windows so the houses look alive a little bit.
Pull up the
totally.
animatics yet? Just for one more time, Jed. Sorry.
Yeah.
We will see the street at day though although I guess we're not 100% on that yet.
Well, I just don't think it'll be a shot this wide. I mean, that whole ending, the way that I'm seeing it, is a lot more personal and about Enid. We might be looking down the street, but I think camera would go up to the sky or something like that as they drive off.
Okay.
So I'm not. I mean, that is a great point, but I think the way that that's going to be blocked, you're not going to see much of what you would see in this setup.
So, I mean, going back to whether we need models or not. So this first scene, right? If you go the first scene, I think this one could be done, in post-production. We don't need the models of the homes here, right?
Yeah,
especially if there is.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Right, and then the next scene. Probably this one neither. We don't need, models. This one here is where this is, in theory, is the orphanarium back here, right?
Correct.
So this one we probably would need the model, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it comes back with the stairs.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, and that's the reason why if it was just the shots of the street and we didn't go into the house, I would say yes, we should just use an HDRI or do it in post or whatever. But the fact that we will need one house to be detailed, that does present somewhat of a problem with putting the other houses in, with if they're not also three, it's not to say that it's not like we can't figure it out, but we have to figure it out.
But even not doing it in Unreal, what if we shoot this on green screen where the last element in Unreal is the sidewalk across the street?
Exactly. Because John, in this way,
line.
Right, because we're looking down this way.
Like we don't even do it we just do it in After Effects and comp it in.
Oh, you mean even the walking up the stairs and stuff?
No.
I'm just talking about the three houses across the street.
Yeah. Oh, the houses across the street, yeah, should be fine. Yeah. But will we not see the houses to the left and right of the orphanarium?
It doesn't seem like it.
I don't think so. No.
Okay. Yeah,
that house
that makes it a lot easier.
That model is so big that we bought, and we're going to want to set it back. I think the lawns are going to be a little bit bigger and set back a little bit more as they are represented here. So I think for the orphanarium, we don't want to see any houses on the left or the right. I want it to just, stand alone.
Right.
And so on this side of the street would be a model of the house and some trees and an HDRI in the far background.
Yeah.
But then this side of the street, looking the other way, it's only 3D from the bottom of the screen to the top of the sidewalk across the street and those lampposts. And then we just use a green screen HDRI essentially, or, however we do the green screen passes. And then we just build that out in Photoshop and After Effects.
Yeah.
Because then we could use that too, possibly for looking down the street. and, you know, skew it somehow or do something. And we don't need a bunch of houses down here. As long as we have trees and lampposts and see some sort of architecture,
right.
That's all we need. It's more about the street and the cars.
We could do this in a very similar way to how we did Tap Dance, where, you know, we had the HDRI behind, you know, and
the park.
Right. But you barely saw it, but it kind of, it was just enough to give you the sense that you were in a city, you know? So yeah, I feel like that could be good too. Yeah. Have the trees and the street lamps, and it's dark, so you kind of don't really see it.
And then we'll get to this, but I think this is the same road, same puppet, same level, just a camera, just an overhead camera. Obviously not this overhead, but
right. Yeah.
And then that'll be one element, and we comp that in After Effects and post to this foreground element, which is Preston Franklin at the window looking down.
Right. And this scene, even though it's in the orphanarium, we probably don't really want to actually. This probably should be its own level. That's basically just the windowsill with the the window and a green screen.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like those. They're like kind of in the attic. They're in whatever that third story is. You know, I've always felt like they're, you know.
Yeah.
That's where the rumpus room is, and they're hanging out upstairs, and so they have a puppet's eye view of everything.
Right.
And then this would be, it would just be nice if we could find, I know we have the water elements. We did some cool stuff with leaves in Halloween.
Yeah.
I know we didn't animate them, but if there is a drain of sorts, that would be great. I mean, I just want some sort of element of danger and that she's taken a risk by jumping out into the street. She's probably never left the orphanarium before, and is desperately trying to get some attention and is willing to take a risk. So a little Indiana Jones moment here to jump over the water.
Yeah, but maybe, you know, it can just be like one of those open...
It can be...
what do they call them? Sidewalk drains.
Yeah, it could be any version of this. You know, it was just kind of a fun moment there to get her to really, you know, that this actually is kind of a, you know, taking a risk here in a big moment. And so having that nice little shot, I kind of like.
Yeah.
Just gives her a little bit, because she could have a little bit of trepidation, look down and be like, should I do it? Should I do it? Kind of like a cat.
Yeah.
You know, when a cat's like getting ready to jump up on something, but takes like a minute.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So this drain here is a big element of this scene for sure. We can put the.
And it could just be a giant puddle. I mean, you know, we could figure it out.
Yeah.
And then we'll do some nice dramatic lighting to get the shadow, you know, coming from behind her.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get something like that on the street. That could even be something that we do in After Effects as well. So let's just remember, now that we're not completely beholden to Unreal for all our different passes, we can really embellish this in post in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So, you know, you could add in a shadow like this that's animated that you capture and just put in if it doesn't work there. But, you know, not crucial, but just fun things like that.
Totally.
We'll get some headlights from the car on the right, you know, right on her face, which is kind of fun. Sort of like the flashlight gag in Zombie.
Yeah.
You know, so like that's going to be a really cool moment right there when the cars come screaming by and she just barely makes it out there. They notice a little bit of comedy here.
Yeah.
Spins her around. You know, maybe shakes her head. You know, we'll see once we can get into the water elements and, you know, those types of features and see maybe she can shake her head like a dog and the water sprays out.
That will be Yeah, we'll see.
You know what I mean? Like, because
Yeah.
that's what it is. It's like, because, that's in the dialogue that Julie wrote, so talking about, Enid getting wet. So I think it'd be fun. Actually, she spins around and is kind of like a little bit dizzy, and then like shakes her head and then is just like, I'm over it, puts her head down, walks back into the orphanarium.
Right.
Yeah. And maybe another line of dialogue. I talked with Julie yesterday, and we went over some ideas to add a little bit more dialogue in the intro for Enid. And a couple other things we'll talk about later. But
like that she's yelling at the cars, or like sort of commentary.
No, like to herself, like
yeah.
I'm never gonna get adopted, whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
Some sort of something that gives some personality, because right now we see her like sort of, we have that personality. She's super excited. And then it's like, I'm going for it. This isn't, running back and forth isn't going to work it. I want to run into the middle of the street. Then as she gets out there, it's like immediately 2 cars just whiz right by, honk. Somebody can yell, get the hell out of the road. Stupid puppet.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then she shakes her head and it's just like, ugh, I'm going inside. This sucks. So,
I like the idea of people like acting as if it's not weird for there to be
get back inside, you crazy animal.
Yeah.
Well, because people in the neighborhood are probably like, who's that Ma Peebs down the street with those crazy puppets that keeps stealing my strawberries,
Yeah.
Right. Cool.
So
do we want
John, do you want to should we just kind of look at setting up just some objects and just kind of start sketching in the
Sure. Yeah, sounds good.
Do we want to? Did you import the orphanarium already?
No. Did you get it?
I think Jed got it. Did we buy it?
I didn't get it.
Oh, I see. All right. Well, we can do it now.
I think you were. Yeah.
But anyway, why don't you start setting up? The basic level. Yeah, go. Start with that.
Definitely.
Yeah, let's do street lamps puppet.
Yeah, we may want to wait a sec on putting it in. I definitely want to take a look at it like right off the bat, and make sure it works.
The orphanarium.
Why don't you share the link, Jed? Can you share it now?
Do you have it handy, John? Let's see. We had a bunch of them. Let me see.
No, but remember the one that we picked with Julie, right?
Yeah,
I know. Yeah.
I told him he knows which one. Here, I'll go through and find it.
I had a list, but I'm.
Oh, I've got your list. Yep.
Oh, you have it? Okay, cool.
Yeah. So.
I moved everything off your computer, so. But yeah, I think maybe as we're sketching, we should try and keep the scene super light. And so in a different level, I could take a look at the house and make sure that everything is like as we need. One thing I was thinking, I just actually we should I guess worst comes to worst, we could texture it in Substance.
Well, let's see the orphanarium. Let's see it just quickly.
Yeah.
I'm tracking it down. They're all like named the same thing. It's like.
I think it was it was number 3.
I got it. It's the very last one.
Oh, it was the very last one.
Yeah, which always happens.
You're sharing the. You're still sharing the other thing.
Oh yeah. Here, I'll stop sharing.
So let me drop this into the chat on our bot talk right now.
Cool.
So it should be on the right there.
Yeah, I said, but you need to share it, Jed.
Right.
Oh, you want me to? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
you wanted to take a look at it, and I didn't know if you guys wanted to download it. Okay.
Yeah, let's. I will also.
We're gonna just take a look and just make sure that it's just double check that everything is gonna work.
Got it. Okay, so you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's all the specs. Over here, it has them sort of broken down a little bit better. So polygons, 181, 781.
Is it in an Unreal or no?
It's
Or
well, it's
Unreal.
it's FBX.
It doesn't say you guys. Yeah. Well, it says FBX, other textures, OBJ, GTLF, Unreal, Unity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it?
Well, shall we try to?
Maybe.
Well, it says Unreal.
Right. It's all part. X. Oh, it looks like. Native form.
Did we ever get a Turbo Squid login?
I think so. We haven't actually got since I've been here with Turbos.
Yeah, we haven't, have we?
Yeah, so I'll play.
Because
yeah.
Oh, I was gonna look into the license.
So the potential issues I would that will most likely texture it, and it's gonna be a material.
Hold on, you're breaking up, John.
Oh.
Oh. We lose you?
I can hear you. Here, should I try? Can you hear me?
Yeah, just bounce out and jump back in.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right, cool.
Hold on, Jed, you're
Funny,
sharing.
I could hear you guys perfectly.
You're sharing the YouTube stream, Jed. Watch out.
Ah, jeez.
I know, it gets very convoluted.
Well, yeah, the reason I was looking at that is I hit your old link.
Yeah.
And it's showing up still, which I don't want showing up.
I know that one needs to be edited out. That's what I was saying, that we need to start. It takes forever before you can edit a stream.
Oh.
So I think yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I didn't know you posted it and left it there. That's all. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, I think that they automatically post, right?
They automatically post, yes. But then you can trim them. You have to wait until it's fully processed before you can actually trim them in place.
Can you download them and delete them?
You could delete them. We could make them private, or. But I've created another link for it. All right. Well, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Could you send me
the new link? It's is this one here.
I just switched over.
There you go. I mean, you know,
jeez. See, I can't do that.
What happened, Jed?
Because I have Discord up on the laptop too, so I was trying to get the link through our chat, but then if I go to the chat, it bounces me to be in the chat on that computer.
yeah. Yeah. Anyway, what were we doing? We were looking
Alright, so yeah.
at
The model.
at the model. So
yeah, which I don't think we really need it right this minute, but because it's really only in 2 shots.
okay.
So yeah.
Well, let's start preparing the
that's
level.
Not, yeah.
Yeah.
I say just work on the street, lamppost, like whatever we can do out there with the puppet and the curb.
Yeah.
That's kind of where it all starts.
I like the idea of just like doing a really simple block in and just kind of seeing like the scale and like
100%,
that sort of stuff.
Yeah, we can already start looking at lenses or just angles of a little sort, just with simple, you know, like, okay, let's just recreate, you know, the panels that I did.
Yeah.
For the thumbnails, and let's build a true animatic. And there's still some timing adjustments. Like I said, we're working on a little bit more dialogue in the intro scene. So I don't think there'll be any added shots, but some of those shots might be longer if we linger and there's some dialogue. But some of the action stuff, like that timing, I already know what that would look like. You know, so we can get into just setting up the different cameras and the different angles and seeing what we need to build out. Because I think that'll tell us, you know, again, I was just using images that I could pull that were close to what I wanted, but once we actually set it up and get the right lenses up, that'll inform us what backgrounds we need. And then that'll inform us, should they be 3D or 2D? Are things out of focus? Are we using shallow depth of field so we could just use HDRIs, or, you know, something simple, or are we seeing it in detail? I think that'll help. I think that'll help guide the process of like, I don't want to build out like this whole neighborhood and then we only see half of it, right?
Yeah.
So.
Right. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think that's like that's I mean, it's great.
Because like with live action, you just, you know, you can build a set, go in there with, you know, single camera, multi-camera, whatever, and just shoot the heck out of it and get a lot of coverage. But, you know, for animation, you really want to lock in, you know, the animatic, which becomes the blueprint for each shot.
Definitely.
Especially in stop motion when we're counting seconds, right, and frames.
Yeah.
You know, so.
We even really could just use like, you know, cubes for cars too, like rectangular cubes for cars for a sec too, or you know, get one car and just use that, like, you know, multiple times or something. That way we'll have a sense of how many cars we need too, which is another thing we don't really know.
Yeah, I think we can have duplicates. I mean, I think there's sort of the 2 hero cars that speed by north and south.
Right.
And I think we could probably use those at the beginning, going by, you know, under the lights, and maybe change the color or you know, something like that. But
I was thinking we probably get away with like, you know, something like 3 or 4 models, and then just a few different colors, you know, for, you know, and I mean, I can change the materials a bit for them.
Yep.
And they could look pretty different.
Cool. Hey guys, I need to get going. I'm gonna buy the Turbo Squid Orphanarium, and I'm gonna look into the licenses. Well, so what do you want to do now, John? You want to start setting up the level, or do we want to? We want to do that tomorrow? Live or?
I would prefer to just get some things sketched in, I think, because I think it'll be more exciting if tomorrow we actually have something to look at.
Yeah, okay. Why don't you go ahead and do that?
I think it'll take us some time to just do that stuff, and then tomorrow will be a little bit more exciting, and we'll have some objects, and we'll have a good beat on kind of what we're doing.
Yeah.
And it'll probably move faster and be a little bit more interesting. But,
yep.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
I would love to just get an hour of work done here before
midnight. Okay.
Sweet.
I'm gonna stop the stream.
Good.